Never miss a story. Get the headlines as they happen. And watch BBC News live wherever you are. Download the BBC News app.
In 2022, His Majesty the King commissioned 10 artists to create portraits of the Windrush generation to commemorate these extraordinary people and their experiences.
There was a shortage of workers here. England have the money, but Jamaica have the men.
We see the special relationships between artist and sitter unfold.
The idea is that these are kind of prompts for you to kind of think about, oh yes, I remember doing that.
Windrush, Portraits of a Generation. Watch on BBC iPlayer.
Tonight at 10, the US Pentagon says there's no indication that a surface-to-air missile brought down the plane thought to be carrying Yevgeny Prigozhin. The Wagner mercenary leader was on the passenger list for the private jet that crashed yesterday, though still no official confirmation of his death. President Putin finally breaks his silence and offers condolences to his family, but says Prigozhin made some serious mistakes.
I've known Mr. Prigozhin for a long time, since the start of the 1990s. He was a man with a difficult fate.
Also on the programme tonight, tight security and Trump supporters as the former president heads to the US state of Georgia to surrender to the authorities. Japan starts releasing treated radioactive water from the Fukushima nuclear plant into the Pacific Ocean, sparking concern in neighbouring countries. And a Nike U-turn means Lioness fans can finally buy the England goalkeeper's replica shirt.
And on Newsnight at 10:30, we'll go deeper behind the headlines and talk to some of the key players behind today's stories.
Good evening. The Pentagon says it is likely that Yevgeny Prigozhin was killed in the plane crash yesterday. That's its initial assessment. The leader of the Russian mercenary Wagner group, who led a brief mutiny against Russia's military leaders 2 months ago, was on the passenger list for the private plane that came down north of Moscow. The Americans also say they have no information to suggest that a surface-to-air missile was used to bring the plane down. This afternoon, the Russian president finally broke his silence over the crash, paying tribute and calling Prigozhin a talented businessman. I'll be talking to our Russia editor, Steve Rosenberg, in a moment. But first, here's his report on today's events.
In a field 60 miles from